A very warm welcome to this edition of Breeding to Win. We're here at Turfington for Charity Miledale. It's a great day's racing. Let's take a quick look at the itinerary and what's on the show tonight. Obviously, it's part 5 of Racing in Paradise. We also bring you an interview with Jacques Charles from CRT, and we also have a look and a chat with Adrian Todd with an update about the protocols. Julie's with me. Julie, fantastic to be here at Turfington. Some great racing today.
Absolutely, Grant, and I think I said it a week ago when we're in for some fantastic racing over the next couple of months, obviously culminating into the Summer Cup, which takes place on the 1st of December. But I think we're in for good racing already. That you can see the racing's getting a little bit more difficult to decipher. It's getting more exciting, and of course we're seeing the big guns now starting to step up. So fantastic. Always a great time of the year because it's also not too far away from the first baby races, and that's always very exciting too. But let's go straight into the show. You're up first. I am, and obviously with racing in Mauritius being so big as it is, thousands of Mauritians flock to the racetrack every week to punt on their favorite horses and take part in the carnival of racing. Tonight we bring you the final episode of Racing in Paradise.
Mauritius has been one of my favourite countries to visit for many years, not only for its beautiful hotels, beaches, fine cuisine and friendly faces, but the Mauritians' enthusiasm for horse racing is second to none. Well, we're with a very, very special lady now, Maura van der Westhuizen. She is like the fairy godmother here in Mauritius because she's got all these horses behind us that she's rescued and taken from the track and given them the most happy retirement they could wish for, along with many dogs, cats, monkeys. It's an absolutely fantastic farm. Maura, the job you're doing is just out of this world.
Thank you.
Now, you've got these horses here that are mostly retired off the track. Just tell us how it all started.
So there's one horse here in particular, and his name is The Reason, and it's September Wind. About 6 years ago, my husband convinced me to get a share in a racehorse. I was like, no, Caboose, no. So eventually I said, okay. So we got the share in the racehorse, and I went to visit September at the quarantine station. I took one look at him, and I never came from a horsey background. I took one look at him. I was like, I am so in love. And I whispered in his ear, I said, September, one day you're going to be 100% mine, and then one day you're going to retire, and I'll look after you for the rest of your life. And so it took me about a year to not even a year, less than a year to buy 100% of him. Actually, the one day he was racing on the 2nd of September, it was the Maiden Cup day, and he was racing. So Caboose and I went to watch, and Caboose opens the race card. He says, why does it say here, owner Mr. and Mrs. van der Westhuizen? Where are the other people? I'm like, there aren't any. We bought them all. He was like, what? So anyway, yeah. And September won on that day, so it was even more amazing. Anyway, a couple of months after that, September used to battle a bit with his tendon, so I decided to retire him. And that's how it all started. I took him to, so we live up in the north, and there was a little stable there at Montchoisy. So I took September up there to Montchoisy, and that's where I was going to keep him there. And the day I got there, there was another horse who was going to be the end of him, and his name was Captain Cheer. And I just took one look at this horse, and I knew a little bit about Captain. I said, absolutely not. So Captain was officially my first adopted horse, and Captain is still very much here today, in all his fine splendor. So yeah, I mean, one September, the reason, now 20 horses later.
So it's just been a snowball effect from there on, and you're sitting here with all these wonderful horses, and you can't resist. You get a phone call, there's another one, and you take it.
I think I was on about number 14 or so, and I get a phone call, or actually WhatsApp. I get a photograph sent to me to say, Moira, do you think you can find a home for this horse? I'm like, oh! So I speak to Kosi, who's my head groom here. I say, Kosi, I need another box. He goes, but madam, we don't have another box. I said, I know, but we're going to build one. So I think at the end of last year, he had to build 5 more boxes. So, yeah.
It's such a lovely story because, we're all into our racing and in South Africa and here in Mauritius, and it's wonderful to see that they can have such a lovely life after the racetrack.
So for me, I think one of the biggest things was I want a horse to learn what it's like to be a horse again, and my ultimate was that if you see here today, they're actually integrating in a proper herd, and that is for me the ultimate. When I see that, I get little goosebumps because it was my dream for all of these horses. I don't expect anything from them. They just need to be happy horses, and that's all I expect.
Well, it must be costing you a fortune. You're not funded by anyone, or you don't have any help.
Majority of the funding is by me, so I will be working till I'm 100 years old. I do have, I am fortunate that the company that I work for, Grit, they do sponsor me. But the idea is, at the end of last year, I actually formed an NGO. And so this year, my aim is, this year's nearly over, but my aim is to now start looking for funding. Being a proper organization, it is far easier to actually go out there and tell people your story, and then to see how people can help.
Now, there's not many of these the farms around in Mauritius, so you're probably one of the first to get it started. But it's great to hear that there are more and more slowly people are getting farms and horses can retire and have a home.
Yeah. So I think there must be at least 10, 12 stables on the island. And a lot of them are for jumping and stuff like that. But it gives the racehorses their second chance and their second career. So show jumping is definitely on the increase in Mauritius. So a lot more horses will be able to find a place after their retirement.
Well, your horses are particularly lucky because some of them are not actually ridden at all either. They're just having an absolute life of Riley, roaming around in a herd in a beautiful field.
Yeah, so I have got a couple who definitely aren't ridden anymore, but that's absolutely not a problem because they're here just to lead their lives out. So I've got like Il Sagittor, he doesn't get ridden. He had an injury back from racing, so he doesn't get ridden. But you'll see, I'm sure he's in one of the video clips, and he looks like $1 million. So I just want them to be happy horses, and they don't have to be ridden.
As I said, you're like the fairy godmother here in Mauritius because you haven't only got the horses, you've got monkeys that you've rescued, and you've got dogs and cats, and that's a wonderful thing to see in Mauritius too, because there's a lot of stray dogs, and you've taken in an awful lot of dogs and looked after them.
So when I first moved to the island about 10 years ago, I did start off with an organisation called Paws, which concentrates on dogs and cats. And so that was where I started to rescue. And the main thing is for me, the solution is to just sterilise and sterilise and sterilise. And so when I started, before I even formed the NGO and I had this farm, I did start taking in a lot of dogs, and over the years I've rescued numerous. At home I've got 8, so I needed another place because after 8 in one house is a bit much. So at the farm here now, I actually have also set up a veterinary clinic, and I've got a fantastic vet who's honestly, he's a specialist in spay neuter. So we go about and wherever we can get sponsorship to do free sterilizations in the villages, we go and do sterilizations in the villages just to try and help and to manage this overpopulation of the dogs and cats.
It's great work, and I'm sure after everyone's watched this on television, you're going to be getting a lot more phone calls, so you're going to have to expand the farm.
I would love to get lots of phone calls to be able to expand.
How many more do you think you can take? How many more is a possibility?
So I think it all depends on how much land Terra will let me rent from them. But honestly, keeping horses is a very expensive thing. Not only is it their feed and the bedding, but along with that comes the human element. And so, but for me, what makes my farm even more special is that currently I've employed 13 people. So some people say to me, Moira, you're just looking after the animals, and I say, no, I'm not. I said there's a huge human element here, and all my guys at the farm, we're like a big happy family. And for me, I've given them an opportunity to work with animals because they all absolutely love animals. It's not necessarily horses; they actually all love all the animals. So I'm very fortunate, and that I'm able to help them to have better lives and to help them with their kids getting through school and whatever. So
I think the public are going to love listening to you, because it's always been a little bit of a concern what happens to the racehorses here when they come off the track, and seeing your farm today and these wonderful happy retired horses is absolutely fantastic. Great news.
Thank you so much. Hopefully there'll be lots more little organizations like All Life Matters in the future, and I think there's a lot more awareness going on now, so a lot more of the horses are getting chances to have their second life. This is one of my favorite horses. His name's King Tut. I didn't actually adopt him directly off the racetrack. I used to have my horses at Montchwazi before they built the golf course, and I had 5 horses at that stage. And once they started to build the golf course, I wasn't able to take the horses out as much. But King Tut was there, and he was they were using him for taking tourists on outrides and stuff like that. But he was an extremely introvert horse, and every night I used to go in and into his box and give him grass and it, because he was just such a little shy horse. And when I knew that I had to leave, I was like, oh, my King Tut, how can I leave him? And so I managed to convince somebody there that he should definitely be coming with me. So basically I made sure the float took 6 horses and I had 5 horses, so there was a space for King Tut. So I paid somebody a little bit of money to say, here, this was to cover the income that you possibly would have got from having him as a horse for taking the tourists. And so King Tut came with me, and I tell you, since he's been here, his whole personality has changed. Before he was such an introvert, he couldn't interact with other horses or anything, and now he's absolutely one of the most favorite horses here and just loves people to bits. And so it's very special for me to actually see how they can how they change, and it's depending on how they're being treated and their circumstances, what's around them.
Well, up here last Saturday was the Equinity Race Day. Now, this is a race day that certainly invites a whole host of new generation possible racegoers. It was a fantastic event. It was hosted by Kudex. We were one of their guests as well. And the Breeding to Win took time out to go visit what happened inside the Equinity marquee.
Well, it's great to be at Equinity night meeting, and Vion Smith, who's got Kudex now, is going to tell us all about that and part of this night. It's been a fantastic evening so far, and I think it's only going to start getting warmed up now. Vion, but lovely to have you in the Gauteng region.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always lovely to be here. And it was, I came to the Quinity event last year and I was really impressed at what they do. And, I thought they really struck the balance so beautifully between focusing on the horse and, showing us the horse in its best form, and also, having a great party. And, we this year we decided to rebrand our foreign exchange business. So within Kuda we have a foreign exchange business that facilitates import and export transactions, and also quite a large part of the business is assisting people with taking money overseas and doing all the tax clearances required and all the Reserve Bank clearances required, both for discretionary allowances up to R1 million and also the annual R10 million that you can take overseas. And we decided this year to rebrand and give it its own identity, and we've gone with something a bit similar to Kuda, but Kudex, and tonight's our launch. So really exciting to be here with a team and quite a large number of our clients, and also clients from across the Kuda spectrum. Some of our sport horse clients are here, some of our game clients are here tonight, and of course quite a few of our bloodstock and racing clients. But it looks like it's going to be a great party, and we're just really, really happy to be here.
Well, I think it's great that you've actually brought all your elements together on one night, and I don't think you could have possibly picked a better race meeting here in Gauteng, because I know Equinity, this is the third year they've done it, but the first year was fantastic, last year was even bigger. So looking at tonight, like I said, it's only starting to get warmed up, but it looks to be another spectacular event, and I think for young people, or newbies as we like to call them, it's a great way to entertain them.
It really is, and racing's got such an advantage over any other forms of entertainment in that it's unique. There's no other modes of entertainment where you've got live animals racing each other, and such majestic animals, and I think that's really what attracted me to what Equinity did last year, and what again they're doing tonight is making it about the horse, and our clients love it. So let's hope some of our foreign exchange clients and some of our game clients and some of our sport horse clients get attracted to the sport to the extent that they get involved on a more regular basis. But for now, we'll enjoy tonight, and the weather is just incredible. I know a couple of years ago they had some terrible weather for the Equinity evening, so the weather's also played along, so we're in for a good evening, I'm sure.
I have to just say, I know Kuda is all about innovation, but you guys just keep getting better with your ideas, and it's evolved. Over the years, you guys have just gone into so many different fields, but you still keep your quality at the very best.
Thank you, Judy. That's very kind of you. And I think the success of Kuda has really been its people. We've got a wonderful team of people and a really diverse group of people, both in our Cape Town office and in our Pretoria office. And innovation is really a massive part and an integral part of our company culture, and we always caring is another integral part of our culture, and those two together means we really care for our clients, and we really have a can-do attitude and try to find ways of doing things rather than reasons to not do things.
Lovely to have you in Gauteng, all the way from the Western Cape for this Equinity meeting.
Yeah, it's my first time, and there was mad reviews about it last year, so thanks to Vion, I got the invite and excited to be here.
Just looking at the different angles that they show on TV and the different footage of racing, quite exciting.
No, if that doesn't attract people to racing, then I don't know. It's been absolutely amazing, and the sound, the hoof beats, of course, right in your ear as well. It's fantastic.
Lovely to have you here from Kuda, all the way from the Western Cape. Now, you're familiar with racing, and this is your first time at Equinity. How different is it for you?
It's quite a different experience when it comes to racing, and just adding a different touch to it, and just having, get more people involved and actually introduce them to the sport of racing.
Once again, John Freeman gives us an update on one of the Freeman stallions. He's got one of the best portfolios regarding stallions in the country. Let's find out some more.
Here it comes, Bold Respect, Thomas Catlin.
As Catalan flies up to grab Bold Respect in the dying moment.
Lobo's Legend in front in the classic. Sir George tries on. It's Lobo's Legend clear by 2. Lobo's Legend.
He's a top horse and a star.
And it's Chimichurri Run now going away. Chimichurri Run to win it by about 3 lengths.
This horse has got talent and he's not going to stop.
Ici, la police qui va enlever l'Arc de Triomphe, 5e victoire dans la course pour Frankie Lettori.
Is storming home. One of the last possible gasps for the judge of Thriller. What a finish to the Melbourne Cup. Brave is under pressure when they turn in. It's been a relentless run cup. Who's going to be the last man standing?
Battling on 2, then Wings of Eagles, Cliffs of Moa, Wings of Eagles swooping though, and Wings of Eagles gets up to win.
His 3,000th winner.
Verticon Durban July.
Gauteng Sansui Summer Cup.
Jacques Charles has been a busy man around the Cape sales. He's also part of CRT. Fiona Ramsden catches up with Jacques to find out about the CRT Horses in Training sale.
The Central Route Trading Sale has been very well supported in Cape Town, and we've got another one coming up on the 3rd of December. And with me this morning is Jacques Charles to have a chat about that sale. Jacques, it's been a very successful sale so far, hasn't it?
Yes, thank you for having me, first of all. We've had huge success, and I think it shows also in the results. You know, horses that's passed the ring has had fantastic runs in other centres, and that's really what we're trying to achieve, is to give some of the horses that hasn't had a good run in Cape Town have a good run in up north or in Natal.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen the attendance at the past sales here in Cape Town, and it's been great. We've had the Joburg guys here, PE, Durban, they're buying from all over.
Yeah, I mean, the shrewd guys are here, and we see who knows where to pick a horse and how to pick a horse, and you know, they've had fantastic success, and that helps any sale company, and it helps the guys considering to put a horse onto the sale that, you know, there's going to be buyers for them.
Yeah, we've certainly been very, very good catalogue so far. There have been some smashing horses. Yes,
well, look, catalogue makes a sale, and we've been lucky that there was good entries, and whether that can go forward, we don't know. It's just to encourage, you know, in certain cases, breeders hold on to a horse later because he's not ready for a 2-year-old sale, and then some people race to get a win or two under the belt and cash in, and then obviously your horses that's maybe struggling through the conditions in the Cape, and they perform in other centres, and to the next owner that could be very, very successful.
And this sale, of course, is a fantastic opportunity for syndicates or anyone wanting to dissolve a partnership.
Yes, the industry is moving towards syndication. I mean, we've had fantastic companies locally promoting horse racing ownership, and not between for all people involved, not just the elite. And how do you dissolve those partnerships? And we need a platform. And if you don't have a platform, you're going to have people part of partnerships maybe not happy, and it doesn't have to affect friendships. Where you can say there's a sale happening, and let's rehash our partnership, or the syndicate can have the horse on sale and get the real value. So nobody's thumb sucking in terms of what the horse is worth, and the market dictates. But we need a platform, and that's what we are trying to do at Central Route.
And is this sale open to any horse, or is it just horses in training, or we have youngsters on here as well?
We've always had the sort of mixed profile as such, the way if you have a mare or a horse retiring, the only thing is that you have to be a registered owner with NHA in order for us to be secure that the horse is going to another owner and to a trainer. So if you are not a registered owner, you would have to buy the horse through a registered trainer, and we're quite strict on that. I mean, for obvious reasons, we don't want the horses to get into the care of the wrong people.
And as I said, the sale is going to be on the 3rd of December. At this stage, it's going to be held at Kenilworth, but there is the possibility it might move to Durbanville. Yes,
that's depending on entries. If we get entries from outside of the free zone, from outside of Milnerton and Kenilworth and Philippi, then we may consider moving it. But as it is of today, it will be at Kenilworth.
And entries close tomorrow, Monday the 5th, so everyone must get their entries in as quick as possible.
Yes, it's subject to entries. Obviously, we want to have as many entries as possible. So tomorrow is the day, and then we hopefully have a sale going on the 3rd of December.
Well, it was lovely chatting to Jacques this morning and getting all the news on the next Central Route trading sale. Don't forget to get your entries in tomorrow, Monday the 5th of November, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the sale.
A man who hasn't been seen on the Breeding to Win show for a while is Adrian Todd. We decided to catch up with Adrian and get an update on the export protocols. This insert is proudly brought to you by Global Logistics.
It's an absolutely stunning day here in Cape Town. We've got the beach behind us, the crashing waves and the beautiful view of Table Mountain. As promised, we'll be bringing you regular updates on the import and export protocol here in South Africa, brought to you by Global Logistics. And with me this morning is once again Adrian Todd. Adrian, lovely to have you on the show again.
Oh, thank you, Fee. Always nice to see you.
Now, when I last spoke to you, you were busy going into meetings and things were really happening with the import and export protocol.
No, everything is, as I started last time, going extremely well. I think where we are now, it's taken us a year to package the product. And I think I can safely and confidently say now that we have complied with all of the European Union's requests, and by default there are other countries as well. We're no longer telling people what we're doing to upskill. Last time I told you about how we're upskilling, we've reached it. We now have the product ready. We're now in the selling phase. We've officially requested the physical audit. We've finished giving them all the updates from a desktop audit perspective. And as I said last time, they will be physically auditing us, and we're just waiting on that date. Things sometimes move a bit slower than you would like in the bureaucratic world, but that's where we are. We're waiting on a date with the EU. We're pushing hard on the negotiations with other countries. Dr. John Gruer and I will be off again shortly to meet with the Hong Kong government, the Singaporean government, and trying to get our protocol pushed forward. So the main achievement that we've had, there's been a big change with the European Union's protocol. Once we pass the audit, we can export with 14 days quarantine as opposed to the 40. What we would have to do is convert the existing quarantine station into a lockdown station. We don't have the facility, but you've first got to get the rule through before you can even consider the facility. So that rule, and that's a major breakthrough, is now in place. It will be a possibility of 14 days with that facility changing. So where we are now, given all the hard work, the product is packaged. It's compliance and selling the product. The compliance is not always easy for people, especially in breeding season with permits, etc. Because our organisation does permits not just for the thoroughbreds, but for every single horse in South Africa that's moving into the controlled zones. But we are making steps to make it easier. We've employed an extra person, so that's building the capacity with the staff. And then on top of that, we're just trying to fine-tune everything and make it easier going forward. We think that by next season, that system will be totally streamlined. It'll be a lot easier for people and just make it more workable. We're looking at putting in place facilities in Rantjiesfontein and PE that will allow the horses to do their stopover quarantine at point of origin. So a case of horse sickness like there has been in PE recently will not have an effect on movement. So it's constantly trying to improve it now to help people here. We couldn't do it before because we had to get to compliance. Now, maintain compliance and make it easier. But compliance is the most important thing. If we become non-compliant, then we can forget about moving forward.
Well, there's a heck of a lot of work has obviously gone into all of this, and it's a much huger organisation than people actually realise.
Yeah, there's an enormous amount of responsibility that has been delegated to us by the state. So without going forward, if we stop, the whole thing is going to fall apart. So that's why once you get there, we have to maintain that compliance. But I'm so pleased that we're finally at a stage where we can say everything is up to speed, the product is ready for sale. Now we're no longer talking to countries, as I said, about what we are going to do to get better. We've done it.
And it's interesting because in many of my other interviews for Breeding to Win, everyone is getting really, really excited about this protocol being lifted and giving us those opportunities. We've got great sales coming up. It's something that we're really, really getting excited about.
Genuinely, people are. And that's why I said last time, we're also creating the market streams now, creating the logistical plans so that the horses can get to places, so we're not left waiting. This is it. I've said that numerous times. We will get it right this time.
That's a wrap for tonight's show. We hope you enjoyed the Mauritian series. There were 5 parts, bringing you just an update on certainly how well the horses are looked after there and how passionate the Mauritian racing pundits are. And we look forward to catching up with you. We'll be seeing you a bit around the Summer Cup coming up soon. Obviously, Cape season coming up soon, but lots happening.
Very much so, Grant. And I just have to say full marks once again to Bob Urim and his team for the Emperor's Palace Charity Mile. It's a fantastic event and certainly looking forward to it again this year.
And Charity is the main winner. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back with you next week.